Hello people! Today we are going into Procreate and I'm going to show you just the simple interface that we have here to animate. It might be a little bit scary to jump into it, but once we show you a couple of things going on here, it's actually pretty simple and then you can just kind of doodle your way through it. So first of all, I do have a file open here. When you're in the gallery, you can go ahead, hit the little plus button, and you can make any sort of size that you want it to be. I just decided to go with the square today. What you are going to want to do is go into the settings, and you want to go under canvas here, and then you want to turn on the animation assist. That brings up our little interface here. So right now we have our one frame here. We have a little settings section. We have the play button. There's only one frame, so it's not going to do anything. And we have this little add frame button on the bottom, and that'll just bring us up with a new one there. So things to know. You have regular frames, and then you can also create a background. So I went ahead and made this little guy, and I thought we could work on him and just make a quick little blinking sequence for starters. So I have this, which is like the basis of the head here. So what you can do, if we want to make this the background so that we can just draw the features moving and make it so that the face and the head is all staying the same and not moving, and we don't have to keep drawing it, you can click on it, and this little part on the bottom will come up called background. You can switch that one on, so that way with any of these new frames that we add, that's like still going to be in the background. We don't have to keep drawing it. So one thing that is important that I was very confused about, originally the background layer does have to be your first layer on here. If it's like, if I turn this one back on, the little Animate and Procreate one, if I turn the background layer off of that, if I try to make this one my background, you're going to see that the option does not come up here anymore. So if I wanted to change that, I would have to drag it down to the very bottom, and there we go, now it pops up. But we do want to keep the other one as our background layer, so that is a-okay. We'll turn that back on, and I'll go ahead and cover that one up. So the way that layers work here is that they're each going to be your frames. So it's pretty simple to get organized. If you want to be doing sketches underneath the final animation, you can also do this though, by creating like groups. So if I want to select these guys, I can add to group, and now the animation thing here is going to read the group as the one frame. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we're on the first layer here, we can zoom in here. So let's put the eyes in. We'll do it while they're open, or you know what I'll do? Keep this as a sketch layer. We'll use the pencil. So his eyes are open. His eyes are open. He's got a little iris in there. Neutral eyebrows. We'll do like a little bit of a little smirky smile. Okay. But say you wanted to make that just the sketch, and you wanted to use like a pen tool to draw on top of. What you can do is you can do, maybe lower the opacity a little bit, go to that second layer that's within the same group. Right, we're all in here. Now you can go on here and say you want to make the line art a little bit darker. Go like that. Now we can go in, we can draw it a little more carefully if we want. that fun stuff. Do the eyebrows, a little smirk. Maybe add some details. Maybe we'll put the pupils in there, a couple eyelashes. Now I can toggle off the one that we have the sketch on, and we'll just have that one layer with the ink on it. So if you wanted to keep it nice and clean, we can do it that way. So if you want, you can do it making new layers in the regular way that you would whenever you're using Procreate, and just do the little plus mark here. Or you can use the part on the bottom here, which if you're getting into a faster workflow, sometimes this is a little bit easier, so you don't have to go open the other menu. Just hit that little add frame at the bottom. This also is super helpful. I'm going to switch back to the sketch. There we go. I am actually going to keep this pretty sketchy for us today. So we have that one. So now we'll look at some of this other stuff here. So I am going to make a quick little blink cycle. So these parts at the bottom, it's really easy. If you need to move them around, just hold it, move it around. I'm going to go to the next one. You can see where it's a little bit red, that is the layer or the frame that is before it. And now we can go ahead and make a slight adjustment. So say I want to make it start to close his eyes. Do a little of that. We'll keep the pupils in the same place. We'll keep the eyebrows generally in the same place, and we'll keep his little smirky smirk. And then we can go to the next one here, and then you can see again the last layer is right in this area. So now I can go even lower, and for this one I'm just going to have it closed all the way. And I'm not going to go too much into animation ideas in this video because that's a whole topic of itself. But there we go, now we have closed eyes. So now we have these three frames that are like open, starting to close, and closed. So if you want to hit play, it's probably going to go really fast if you keep it on the settings that it comes with. So if you want to go into settings, especially since we only got a couple frames here, we can take the frames per second really low, and then it'll start to look a little more natural. I also like to keep the onion skins very low. If I'm drawing from frame to frame, I really only like to keep 1, maybe 2 frames. And then the opacity, I don't usually have to move it. It's usually pretty good where it is, but if you want it to be lower, you can do that. If you want it to be like the same opacity as the drawing that you're doing, to each his own. I usually keep it right around that middle spot. Also in this little guy here, you have the top section that is how the video is playing. By default, it's set to loop, so it just goes forward and just is repeating the same thing. The ping pong makes it go forwards and then backwards, you'll see, which just makes it look a little bit like a slow couple of blinks. Or there's the one shot, which will just play it all the way through one time. Simple. So we'll keep that on loop really quickly. One of the other great things they have here, when you go click on a frame, there's this hold duration. What that is you can select how many frames you want it to hold for. So if it's the example we have here with a blinking cycle, the eyes will probably stay open for a little bit longer. So I might put that for like 2 frames. So that's 2. And then the blinking, since it's going fast, we can keep that at the 1 frame and 1 frame. And then when we play it together, it's like he's open and then he blinks once. So, I think that is pretty much all the simple stuff that I wanted to go over today. One other thing I almost forgot was that you can also duplicate the layers or the frames down here at the bottom pretty simply with the little pop-up menu too. So this part, if I want to add a little in between the blink to be on the other side of this blink, I can do that easily by just hitting duplicate and putting it on, dragging it over to the other side. So then there's open, mid, closed, half open. It'll go back and forth nice and easy. There you go. Just a real cute little guy. I can show you some of my other ones that are a little bit more elaborate. Here's one that I did earlier this week. It's a more involved, there we go, a more involved version of a blink cycle, where she has a little bit of a look over. Oh. So this one I have doing that ping pong, so it goes forward and then backwards, so she looks up and then she looks back the other way. So with this one I've got a lot of layers for each of the individual pieces, especially for parts that are going to be moving eventually. But if you check it out, I have them all in these individual groups here, so that the little thing on the bottom here is just reading each of those as one frame instead of, I'll show you if I have, if you have all of these not in a group, it's gonna try to do these as, oh, why isn't it going? There it goes. So these are like all of the pieces. So you want to make sure they're in a group, because otherwise, it's just going to read it as individual pieces. So we make sure those guys are all together in their little group. It all reads as one full thing, and then it goes all the way around. I have a body one. Okay, this one I just finished yesterday. There we go. Okay, start at the bottom. So this one I did the thing like we did in the example, where this whole background part and the figure, those are all part of the quote-unquote background piece that I have saved here. And then I just have the moving parts being the outfit that she's wearing and then her head and her hair. So as we scroll through, you see those are the only parts that I was drawing. And when you play it through, it moves together, and then that whole background piece stays the same. So, there's many options that you can do with these. I will say, if you want to change the background in anything, you are just going to have to make a new file for it. Because there's no way to do, like, this section has a background that's this, and then after this, there's another section with a different background. It can only handle one background at a time. So that is something to keep in mind. But it's a lot of fun to play with. And yeah, if you guys have any sorts of questions, or you want to know more about how to do more animations, or just general drawing on Procreate in general, go ahead and leave comments in the bottom and let me know what you think. Any questions, any ideas you want to see talked about, any sort of problems that you're running into, I can check them out and see if that's something I already know how to do, or I can check it out and do a little research if need be. Anyway, you can find more videos here at my channel. You can also find me at Raven Mitts Art on Instagram as well. If you want to help support me a little bit, you can join my Patreon. It's mostly just extra little sketches, and I put posts up there before I put them out. All of that good stuff. I also, yeah, I guess that's it. Alrighty, well, I guess that's it for me. So I'll be signing off. Hope y'all have a wonderful day.